We are live. Good. I'm always just waiting, never knowing when it's actually. How's it going? How is everyone doing? Hopefully you're all well. I'm back once again. I always feel like I should say for the Renegade Master after that sentence, but that kind of shows how old I am. It's good to see you all, virtually. I thought what I'd do this week actually is, as well as taking questions, which I'm always happy to do, I want to really focus in this week on the mindset of training, the mindset of racing, and the mindset of exercising in general, and maybe try and eke out another few ways for all of us how we can kind of attach ourselves even more to the process of training and stop kind of falling off the bandwagon, I guess, in hard times or during injury, because it's something that I've been trying to work out how to do for quite a while, not just for myself, but for everyone. And what I thought I'd chat about is a 5-step kind of plan that I've got in the brewing that eventually I want to write a book about. And always input is good, but also talking about some of the videos I've done recently on the channel that are on that subject. And the first one is, if you haven't seen the video I put out on Sunday, which was called Running the Infinite Game, go and have a watch of that point. Let me know what you think, because it really is a passionate subject of mine, that, and I always say in all of my videos that running is a lifetime relationship. It's something that you do for the long term. It's not something that you go, I'd like to do this marathon or that race, and that's it, and you get there. Train yourself to train, if that makes sense. Falling in love with training to train. The sun is really in my eyes today. It's a bright one. I'm not complaining though, by the way. When it's sunny, that's a good thing. Hey Dan, how you doing? Nice to see you, mate. So let me talk you through, first of all, a couple of books that I think you should read. If you're interested in mindset and being stronger of the mind, which I am obsessed with, then these couple of books that I've read in the last couple of weeks or last week would really help. And the first one is called The Infinite Game, believe it or not, by Simon Sinek. And it's actually a business book, but transferable to almost any. Sinek is an amazing writer, amazing. I listen to the audiobook version because I like to hear him talking and put the emphasis on the particular words that he talks about. But that's one. And I'm listening to a Tony Robbins book at the moment, which is, I believe it's called Awake the Power Within. It's the most recent one, and it's actually a conference, and it's a recording of that. But again, really powerful stuff that I'm learning a lot while I'm listening, and I'm trying to put it into my coaching and my running. Hi Rob, how you doing? So let me give you an idea behind my 5-step plan that it would be really good to get some feedback on, but also I think it has potential to help people not just start the running journey, because actually I'll get into that, but I think starting the running journey is the easy bit. I think gaining momentum and then not letting that momentum turning it into traction and not letting it slip is the key in running. You see a lot of people start early with passion and zeal, and the first setback, they're kind of out of it, or they go too hard and get injured and they're out of it. So I've set it up like this. I've talked about it on previous. Is that backwards? It is on my screen. Can you see it on, is it the right way around on your screen? So basically it's a 5-step process, okay? In order to get yourself into a place where you are happily a runner for the entirety of your life. And by the way, I will answer. If people ask questions, I'll dip in and out, but this is what I'm just going to talk about while we don't have questions. And if you have questions on mindset, anything around running, that's mega to me, and I'd love to chat about that. So how do we get people started in running, especially now? Do you know my 5K, my Couch to 5K video has just blown up over the last couple of weeks. Since this lockdown, it's now had, I think, about 140,000 views, and it's got a lot of subscribers from that particular video in itself. So I know that a lot of my subscribers are new to running and are looking for ways to get themselves to 5K. But now when they're at the channel, not just for me, but what I want to do is grab their attention and make them into lifelong runners, and I'm trying to work out how to do that. So the first thing is, in this plan that I've come up with, this 5-step plan, is I actually think actions speak louder than words, and actions even speak louder than feelings, if you like. So done a few videos about this as well, but I want to find a way. Step one, for example, for all new runners, if you're watching this and you're a new runner, even if you're a seasoned runner, what you need to do is find ways of turning your actions into exercise, doing positive things. So to create a bias to action, to create someone who's more likely to do something than not, which sounds ridiculous, but the examples are things like, as I've spoken about before, the 5-second rule, where if you're sitting on your sofa and you get the urge to do a run, you have to count down from 5 to 0 right there and then. And by 0, you have to move, you have to get up. Otherwise, your brain just kills the urge, and it's 5 seconds. And if you do that, even when you're in bed, like in the mornings and your alarm goes off or whatever, and you think, oh, I could press snooze or I could count down from 5, you're creating a person that is much more likely to do than not do. And that translates down the line into running, but we're not attaching any feeling to it yet. We're just creating a person that does. So it's setting the right environment for you to become a good runner in the future. Other ways of doing these are the 10-minute rule. Remember, you're setting that rule in your head that if you go out and you're not happy in 10 minutes, then you can come back. It's never going to happen. Once you're out, you're happy and you're feeling it. These are just ways of creating a bias to action. Implementation intentions, if you've not heard of those, write down. If you want to train for the week but you don't have a coach, it's really simple. Write down what you want to do on each day, where you want to do it, when you're going to do it, how you're going to do it, and then you are 90% more likely to exercise than not, because you've made a statement of intention. It's called an implementation intention. So these are step one. This is like first few days. Just create a person that does, right? Then you move on eventually. Now, this could take days, it could take weeks, it could take months. There's no rush to it. But again, we're playing the infinite game, really, aren't we? So we need to get ourselves to a place where we're continually doing. We are doers and we're feeling like we're runners. And I've seen some people write some negative stuff on Facebook and on YouTube, like slating anyone that's trying to run, saying, oh, my walking pace is faster than your running pace. That needs to be checked. If you see stuff like that, I think you need to jump in and challenge. I jump in and challenge these types of perceptions, because anyone that goes out and tries to better themselves is able to call themselves a runner, period, done. You're allowed to call yourself a runner because you are trying to be better than the person that you were before, right? Simple as that. Doesn't matter about pace, doesn't matter about distance. You might be the starting run, that might be the starting run until you were 100 years old. Do you think the person that was slating you will still be running then? I don't think so. Rob, oh, you use the 5-minute and 10-minute rule. They are, yeah, good, man. They are really useful. I use them too, like to get myself, when I'm really not feeling it, to get myself up. I definitely use the 5-second rule. So after that, then we got to start tying emotion into it. Start tying emotion into those little biases to action and small victories. Okay. And the way I think we do it is we create easy emotional wins. Like, have you ever seen the video about making your bed from the US Naval Commander? Someone came on here and we were talking about it the other day, but he says, if you want to win your day every day, and start your day right, make your bed. It is the top emotional win you can have in the start of the day, as well as when your alarm goes off, never, ever, ever pressing the snooze button. Those 2 wins right there can set you on your way emotionally straight away, because no matter how bad a day you've ever had, you come back to a made bed. That's already a win. And the thing about pressing the snooze button is it might feel good to catch a few more Z's, but if you really knew what it actually did to your body, you might think twice, because when the alarm goes off, your body releases cortisol, which is a stress hormone, to wake you up, to get you in that pattern of getting up. Now, if you press the snooze button and you go back to snooze and your body tries to go into another 4-hour sleep cycle, then the alarm goes off again, you're reflooding it with cortisol, right? So you're just continually flooding your body with cortisol over and over again the more times you press the snooze button, whilst its body's trying to fight itself back into sleep. And the immediate win you can have with that is get up. The moment your alarm goes, never press the snooze button again, because it's a psychological statement of intent as well, saying, I'm better than this, I'm worth something, I'm worth the day, and I'm worth starting it right. And that's what I believe anyway. I'm very, very lucky in that I've never had a snooze button. And when I say I'm lucky, I'm a product of my environment. My environment was set from the day I was 11 years old, because I lived with my dad, and he's a builder, and he would used to go to work at 5 a.m. So if I didn't get up that first time, I wasn't going to school. And you might say, well, you could have pressed the snooze button a few times. Like, I know what I'm like. And had I have done that growing up, I really don't think I've made it to school. So it wasn't an intentional thing at those times when I was 11 years old, but it has set the patterns for me that has turned me into the person that never hits a snooze button anyway. And you can create those patterns for yourself no matter what age you are. It's just a fact. You can do, I mean, essentially you can do whatever you want to do. And that's such an easy win, isn't it? Not pressing the snooze button. So step 2 is starting to attach some self-worth, small victories into your bias to action. I think that's really important. And again, that could take weeks, that could take months, but it is an important step, because step 3, and these need some refining, by the way, these are not the final thing. The step 3 is flipping feelings. Yeah, because Tony Robbins in his book was actually saying the way he got a smoker to quit smoking. It's a really good story, actually. He said a guy turned up and he was looking for his client who wanted to quit smoking. He couldn't find him, and he went outside, and the guy was like, yeah, I'm just having my last cigarette. I'm just having my before we go. And Tony immediately was like, well, this guy doesn't want to quit. And what you have to do, it's not what your head, the guy knows that smoking is unhealthy. So you don't have to fight the head. The head knows it. You got to fight the gut, which is the feelings, right? And so what he did was he grabbed the guy. He was like, right, come on with me. And they went and bought like 20 packets of cigarettes. And the guy was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? He took him back to the room, and he's like shouting at him. And he's like, smoke 10 cigarettes right now. And the guy was like, and he made him smoke them. And the guy was like, I don't know what's going on. And then he was like, smoke 20 more now. And then the guy was like smoking. He was like, I don't really want to. And he subconsciously, because Tony's not a professional psychiatrist, he doesn't need to adhere to the rules that a psychiatrist necessarily would. He's shouting at the guy, but he's switching the emotion so that smoking is much more devastating and scary and an immediate harmful thing than not smoking. And by the end of that one session, the guy was like, well, I don't want to smoke anymore. Now, if we do that, take smoking out of the equation, and we have to find a way of turning running into the good, positive, immediate need rather than the not running, which is easier. And we know not running is easier, and we know not running gives us less immediate pain. But where we have to go is train our gut to know that long term, running is the way, running is the good thing, or exercise, doesn't have to be running, could be triathlon, swimming, cycling, whatever. And it is immediate and dangerous almost to not exercise. So we've got to try and flip our feelings, and that can be done in a number of ways. Like I've written here, NLP. Have you ever heard of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming? It's the stuff that is how things are said and what words are said can train your brain in particular ways. Almost like Simon Ward, the triathlon coach, calls it creating a physical pension. Now, even just those words, you're like, hang on a second, a pension. We have a financial pension. Most people do anyway, right? Where towards the end of your life, you've paid in and you get out. And you have to treat your exercise the same way physically. You have to bank a physical pension. How do you want to be at 70 or 80? Do you want to be a person that is in pain and doesn't want to be around and like everything hurts? Or do you want to be a person that's invested throughout their whole life in their physical pension and it's reaping its rewards then? You're still exercising, you're still flexible, you're still happy. So little words like that flip the feelings. Megan, how are you doing? How do you recommend training as a new runner with friends who have been running for a while and run much faster than you? Are there any workouts that a mixed running ability group can do together? Do you know what it is, Megan? It's it depends on the friends, I would say. Surround yourself with people that want you to be better, that will push you to be better. And if those friends are really good friends, which I'm sure they are, they'll run your pace for a while until you get up to speed. Mary was always really, really hesitant to run with me when she first started running, and I never knew why, because all I wanted to do was run with her. All I wanted to do was see her flourish. I wasn't bothered about going out at her pace, and I'm still not. I still run with her at her pace a lot of the time. Sometimes I run my own sessions, but my advice to you, Megan, would be just chat with those friends and say, look, I really want to come out with you, but come for a while, can we just turn this into a social thing? Can you run my pace? It's a game changer when you run with people that want to see you do better. And I really believe that. And that's an important aspect of friendship, and it's an important aspect of training, is the social side. Mary and I go out for we've been out for a couple over the last week or so together, and it's just been lovely. And I run at her pace, and it's not like I feel like I'm running super slow, but at least I'm running with her, and that's the key for me. So have a chat. To be honest with you, have a chat with your friends. I wouldn't recommend interval sessions at this point or workouts in necessarily. I'd just say go out and enjoy it, and tie yourself to the experience of enjoying running. Lawrence's I've forgotten what. Can you remind me your name? Like, it always comes up as Lawrence's daddy, and I can't remember. I need to write it down, because until I've heard a name like 3 times, I'm rubbish. And I know I remembered it last time, but it's been a while since we've had a chat. So remind me. Alexandru, what do I think about zero drop running shoes? Well, it's the same as I think about any shoe. I think actually is you find a shoe that works for you. Jake. Thanks, Jake. You're right. It is Jake. I remember now. Zero drop running shoes is the same as anything. You find a shoe that works for you. I couldn't even really, I don't think I could even tell you what drop my shoes are, if I'm being brutally honest. I don't invest too much in knowing that kind of stuff, because I just find a shoe that works for me. And I think, if I move away and I get injured, like I did with Asics, I was with Asics and I moved to Saucony, and within 2 months I got a couple of bad calf injuries, and when I looked into it, it was because the drop was a lot higher in the Saucony than the Asics, and I've gone back to Asics, no problem at all. But I don't really have an opinion on zero drop running shoes necessarily. Maybe you can tell me, what are the benefits supposed to be of zero drop running shoes? Is it just feeling more natural, feeling more like if it was just a foot? Is that the key to those? Megan. Oh, good. I'm really glad that they're getting you excited about running. And that's the key with everything that I do, is I just want to instill the sense of passion I have about running and inspiring other people to run in you guys. It's really important to me, because the more of us that are out there getting other people to exercise, the better the world, the better the world's going to be, right? There's a saying that I absolutely love, which is a rising tide lifts all boats. And all we have to do is be that tide, and all of the boats around us, i.e. the people that don't necessarily yet exercise, can't help but be inspired by what we do. And if we bang on about it enough, there's that old joke, isn't there? Like, how do you know that someone's a triathlete in a dinner party or something? They'll tell you within the first 10 seconds. And that's right. But I'm like proud of it. Hang on, I've got to change this a little bit, because it looks like does it look like the sun is right in my eyes right now? I cannot be putting on, I love Casey Neistat, by the way, but I cannot be putting on sunglasses indoors. Okay, so let's have a look. A couple more questions. Dan, you've been running with your wife who's working through the Couch to 5K program. You do it on alternate days to your own run, so you get the best of both worlds. And that's what it's about, Dan. I couldn't agree more. You fit your training around someone that you want to bring up with you. I think that's really important. And training doesn't have to be this whole selfish thing, especially right now when we don't have particularly any goals to aim for in the immediate future, that you can invest some time in bringing some other people up. And Yeah, I love doing that with Mary as well. She's injured at the moment. She really got this weird knee injury that we can't figure out, but hopefully soon we'll get it sorted. Matt, late to the stream. Do not worry. Yeah, I'm glad you're here, mate. You know, I'm glad anyone ever turns up. Like when I first, if you look back at the live streams on this channel, the first couple I did, I think there was about 2 people watching. One of them was on Mary's birthday in Hawaii 2 years ago, and it was like the first live stream that I ever did before this channel really turned into a majoritively running and triathlon channel. But it's a process, and I would happily sit here and chat to 0 people about what I think, and just hope that one person might watch it in the future and it helps them. So, but the fact that everyone drops in and says hi and interacts is just, it's mind blowing to me, and I absolutely love it. And the sense of community is brilliant. So Alexandru, oh, good. So you use a pair of Torin from Ultra, and so far you're happy, but you feel your calves work more and feel a pressure on the Achilles heel. Yeah, well, see, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what type of drop would cause more or less pressure on the Achilles, but certainly some trainers will make your calf and Achilles work harder, and then it will highlight whether you have a potential weakness in that area, I guess, that is underlying. Our bodies are amazing. Like, they are amazing. They will cope with muscle imbalances or weaknesses for so long without you realizing, and then it's just, you know, over time, wear and tear, they'll finally give in and can't do any more. But I'm pretty certain that I've got so many things wrong with me when I run, and it's just a matter of time. And at the moment, I'm just putting out fires around the body, and that's part of the game, I think. So non-running question. Oh, non-running question. Yeah, non-running question's fine. So you've got to start a YouTube channel for your students at school. Any tips? What's the channel about? To be honest with you, my tips are very similar to what I think people like Tony Robbins or Gary Vee or anyone would say. And that if you are doing it based on your passion rather than any need to make any type of financial gain, which obviously it seems like you are because it's for school, you can't go wrong. Be as genuine as possible. Interact. I try and answer every single person's comments on any video that I ever get. I might miss the odd one, but I try not to. Yeah, it's being genuine and never doing it for financial gain. If I end up long term making any money out of this channel, I will be staggered, because I don't turn ads on or anything like that, because I don't want any of you to have to watch ads before you watch the videos. But I don't do it for that, so I'm all right. I'm happy, and I know a lot of people. Remember, I'm a long-term mindset guy, so play the long term as well. Jamie, you've just registered for the Brighton Marathon. Yeah. Any tips? Yes. Take it easy. Don't get there too fast. Time it so that you are ready to run a marathon on marathon day. Don't go above and beyond before that if you're new to running. I mean, if you've already run lots of half marathons, then yeah, I mean, you could run a marathon in preparation, in training, say 4 or 5 months out, just to know what it feels like. But it'll very much depend on your level, I think. Jake, what's harder, sub 40 10K or sub 130 half marathon? Sub 40 10K, I think. Yeah. Sub 130 half marathon, I think, is a slightly slower pace than a sub 40 10K, isn't it? I think. Both realistic goals, though, like really good, you know, lots of training at tempo in your training for that kind of goal, especially at a half marathon. You know, put some intervals in there where you do a kilometer at that goal race pace, because obviously it won't be your flat out balls out pace. So you can do those types of things in interval sessions and just train your body to know. And then worst comes to worst and you lose your watch doesn't work on race day, job done. You've got that pace in your head locked in. Brighton 2021, bring it on. Yeah, I mean, that is, I'm assuming that's like, again, the week before the London Marathon. And I actually think London Marathon won't happen on October the 4th. I actually think I'll probably be doing the London Marathon next year. It'll be the realistic goal. And whether they let me in, because I've got good for age at the moment, but I was injured when I did Seville, so I don't have good for age for next year's London Marathon yet. I was aiming to get it at this London Marathon. So we'll see. Like I say, it's for life. Okay, Dan, You're only 16, you've done triathlons from a young age and signed up for the London Tri doing Olympic distance. With the uncertainty of it going on, how would you recommend training? Train for it anyway, Dan. That would be what I would say. The worst comes to worst, it doesn't happen and you are fully fit for a triathlon. And I would say just do it on that day. You don't necessarily have to do it in the same place. I've done that triathlon. It's really great, but I've done better ones as well. I would say just crack on the day. Train for it like it's on is always my advice to everyone that asks, because that keeps you accountable. It keeps you structured. It keeps you focused and happy. And happiness actually is the main thing for me. The video this week that's coming on Sunday is going to be a torrid affair because it's about my recovery week and whether you should have a recovery week in times like these when you've got more time at home. But whew, poor Mary. I'll just say poor Mary. I'm driving her nuts at the moment. Dan, in the future, once the world's resumed to some sort of normality, would I consider a meetup? Yeah, definitely, always. I was actually thinking of doing some stuff virtually as well before the world returns to normality, and maybe if people are interested, riding up the Alpe d'Huez and chatting to each other on Discord, which I do with my club. So my tri club use Discord as an app, and we all just put headphones in and chat throughout like an hour and a half ride, and it's brilliant. And I'd be more than happy to do that on a group. I could set up a This Messy Happy Discord if people wanted to do stuff like that. And yeah, absolutely, a meetup would be great. All on board with stuff like that. It's awesome. It feels weird to me to meet people that I know but I don't know, but I love it. And I'd imagine, on a massively different scale and huger scale, people like Casey Neistat must get it all the time. Well, how nice must it be to meet people that know you and like interact with you? It just must be great. So Jamie, I've done 3 half marathons. Oh, you're running from waves. Okay, I get you now. 3 half marathons. Okay, well, so you're at a decent standard already for the marathon. And if you've signed up to that, do you know what I did? I signed up for the London Marathon and I got in. And I was at half marathon ability or distance. And what I actually did was I trained to run. I found a trail marathon on New Year's Eve. It was called the Flitch Way Marathon in Essex. And I trained for that before the London Marathon because I really was desperate to know what it would be like what it would feel like to run a marathon before I ran a marathon. That sounds mad, doesn't it? But I needed to know before London what it felt like because I wanted to go as hard as possible in London. And I just had to have that feeling in my legs of like, this is what it's like. I would have probably done it in training if I hadn't have found that race, if I'm honest. So you have those options as well. And in fact, I went into February and did an ultra marathon as well. And then really tapered it down the other side before London. And I think that did me really solid because I was actually a little injured coming into London, but because of the fitness I had behind me, I still managed 2:55, which I was so chuffed with. So yeah, a good base behind you could be a winning technique. Richard, it's not a problem doing these Q&As. I love them. I can't actually believe people like them, if you like, because people just have to sit there and listen to me. And when I make my videos, my Sunday videos in particular, I find it really, really hard to do any type of talking bit for longer than 30 seconds or a minute because I know what my attention span's like. And I like it where it just goes and jumps around like Casey Neistat style. And Mary loves watching people who do videos for like 40 minutes, like just chatting about their life. And I need to get better at getting my head around that because she was saying, oh, people just like to see people. And I get it. So I'm trying that this Sunday. So can you let me know if you're watching this? Can you let me know if that is something that you like to watch? Literally, you don't necessarily learn anything. You just watch what my life is like. I can't imagine that being interesting. I know what my life is like, but Mary thinks that she gets interested in other people. So I don't know. Key tips for transitioning to triathlon. Do it. That's my key tip. Do it. Just go. I think actually the biggest blocker I've always found when I speak to people and they, I go, oh, I'm a triathlete and they're like a runner or whatever. The number one blocker is swimming. is they're always like, oh no, I can't swim. And it does stop a ton of people. And actually, my mate Steve is having lessons at the moment to make himself a swimmer so that he could do a triathlon, because he's a great runner and he can cycle. And he literally almost cannot swim, but he paid to have adult swim lessons and he's training himself. It's water confidence. And when you do it, pick a pool swim, not an open water one, because people freak out when they can't see the bottom or get dunked or whatever. It's, an open water swim is a hard way to start a triathlon life. So, but just do it. You'll never regret it. You can be completely average at 3 things like I am and be actually an all right triathlete. That's what I love about it. I'm totally average, but I'm okay and I'm happy. Dave, following the half marathon training and finding the Sunday long run, you find the Sunday long run, Monday S&C and Tuesday run. Grateful for the 2 days rest. What is the thinking behind the block? For me, really, it's just to give yourself a break after a long run. You shouldn't do any type of run after, I don't think, the day after. A strength and conditioning session could be as easy as yoga if you want it to be. And I think that will really, having alternate run days, my opinion, my personal opinion as a coach is 60, 70, I don't know, maybe even 80% of people I know overtrain for long distance races. That's my opinion. I run 3 times a week. I alternate days, and when I get to my races, I've probably never been in better position. For the majority, some I get injured. That's, like I say, that's part and parcel of the process. But for the most part, it gets me there in the best condition I can be, freshest, uninjured, ready to go. And I know people that train 5-6 times a week, and I can't help but think if they toned it down just that little bit, their legs, one of my good mates, I won't mention them, but they really definitely overtrain, and I've told them so many times, but they're just not hearing it. So I try, with my training plans, I try and keep it a good balance between still feeling like you're doing stuff, but not running every single day. So adding the strength and conditioning in. Chris, thanks for the Q&As, regular video. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I feel like I'm on a bit of a roll with the videos at the moment. I don't think this Sunday's one's going to be any good, but the videos I've done recently, I'm actually quite happy with, but I think it's because I'm making 8 a week. If you include the PE channel that I'm doing for the kids at school, I'm still putting in as much effort as I would do my videos, because I don't know how not to. So yeah, I'm getting there. I'm coming along nicely. I don't hold much hope for this Sunday. I'm totally lost making this one. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So we'll see how it turns out. Your current running program gives you 2 rest days. Advisable to squeeze in bike sessions on the days? It depends on where you're at, mate. Honestly, I think it depends on the level of fitness you already have. I train 6 days a week, but I've been training for nearly 10 years solidly. So my body kind of lets me. But if you're new to it, and squeezing in a bike session, even though it's non-impact because you're not hitting the ground, can still be quite taxing, I guess, in the early days. So you're going to have to try and balance it out, like what's safe for you to do. Jammy Jack, what's my 5, 10K and half marathon PB? Okay, so before I say that, that's just I'm not going to say it because that's an ego thing. My 5K PB is 18:18. My 10K is 36:42, and my half marathon is 1:23. And all of those, I am absolutely certain, had I done them at different points in my fitness journey, I could run faster than, but I never have. So I was, Paddock Wood half marathon this year, I was absolutely gunning for sub 120. Would it have happened? I don't know. I probably wouldn't have been in the right place maybe now thinking about it, but I am absolutely convinced I have faster in me. But those are my PBs. And, I can only dream of being like someone like Dan Mapp, who can run a sub 15 5K. Like, can you imagine the pace you'd have to go to run that? It's obscene. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's have a look. Last cop. How do I become less scared of going down hills? I don't know how you become less scared of going down hills on a bike, actually. it's a weird one because one of my good mates, Ad, that lives a couple of doors down from me, has got a real thing about descending, and yet you put him in a race and he wouldn't care at all. He'll go as hard as he can downhill, and I'm like, there's something there, but I don't know what it is. And I've never been afraid of going downhill. Maybe because I haven't come off my bike going downhill, but I'm quite happy doing it. I don't know how you would get better at going downhill, if I'm honest. Winona, oh hi Winona. When you do a long run, you feel fine the next day and could go again, but 2 to 3 days after feel fatigued and in need of rest. Should I schedule set rest or take it as I feel you need it? Well, I think there's a good place for having a set rest, if I'm honest, but it's then about knowing your body. So why don't you have that set rest on that day after you've done that long run? You know, my set rest tends to be Fridays. I tend to have Friday off. I haven't tomorrow because I wanted to train tomorrow because I was looking at the weather. So I had Wednesday off, but I take a lot of things into account. But I tend to do my Fridays because in my working week, Friday, by the time I get to Friday, when I'm working in a physical job like a PE teacher and training, I'm usually done and dusted by Friday. So I take that day off, but it's I guess it's knowing your body, and it sounds like you do. So I would say factor in a rest day when you know that's when you feel it the most. Anyway, I can't remember. Oh, no. Okay. So I usually say at the end of each of my videos what I'm having for dinner. And I'm sure people will be very, very disappointed if I didn't say that I'm having, what am I having? I'm having chicken and chorizo jambalaya with a specially made salad that Mary makes that she made up. And it is just, I tell you, it's olives, cherry tomatoes cut up, basil leaves, avocado, and then a drizzle of olive oil. And if you mix that in, go and try that. That is next level stuff. So I'm going to go and eat that now. I look forward to feedback about the video on Sunday. Be kind, because I'm really lost on this one. That is part and parcel of the recovery week, I guess. And as always, thanks for being part of this. Thanks for being here. It's really amazing to me that this community is here and we all chat and vibe off each other, and yeah, it really makes me happy. So hope that it has brought you value and made you happy, and I'll see you on Sunday or Tuesday or Thursday or whenever I see you next. And one day we will do a park run together, and if you want to go up the Out the Zwift with me on Discord, let me know in the comments, not actually on the video bit, but in the comments afterwards. Okay, goodbye everyone. Gonna eat my chicken and chorizo jambalaya. Have a good evening.